हर तरीके से empowerment हो रही है, उस empowerment को आप गलत तौर पे इस्तेमाल करें, सही, that's up to us. The question I want to ask you is that with all of this technology, do you think governments are getting more powerful and empowered, or the people are getting more empowered and you know more sort of able to resist government? किसको ज़्यादा फायदा हो रहा है और किसके expense पे? ये zero sum है. Quick question for you.
Okay, to me, I think it's at the expense of the people. Even though they feel empowered, they have been disempowered in a way, and it really depends on how you use that technology. For instance, Clinton famously said that trying to manage the internet is like putting jello on the wall. And guess what? The Chinese put the jello on the wall,
yeah,
right? Because they were able to manage the internet in a way where it has become very, very intensive in terms of people management. They have, you know, facial recognition, etc.
So government ज़्यादा हो रही है.
So it really depends. In the US, also very, very similar. You talked about large corporations. Today, Google holds the key to information and to what is, and in Europe, for instance, maybe the citizenry a bit more. So it really depends on who has used that technology in what way.
Zarar, what's your opinion?
I would say that while I agree with what Hina says, I would say that the real power lies in the hands of those who are writing the algorithms.
Who are writing the
algorithms. I think that we are entering an age of techno-feudalism. You see, techno-feudalism. Call it digital colonialism, call it what you want. Because this is where the issue of digital sovereignty comes up. Look, I'm going to take you guys back to May, when India launched Operation Sindoor, which is apparently still going on, Allah hi janta hai. We saw how important it was to have sovereignty over your defense production. I think that is something we're seeing all over the world, you know, with Trump being like, okay, I'm stopping these weapon supplies, blah, blah, blah. If AI can also be used as a weapon, then how important is it to have sovereign control over, say, the data, digital backbone of your nation, the infrastructure? Who writes and controls the tools that you use? Because there is inherent bias there. And I'll give you a really weird-ass example of that, okay? Like, for example, the amount of times that Elon Musk has lobotomized Grok is ridiculous, okay? In the middle, it was like telling you the truth about Israel, then it got reprogrammed, then it started rebelling. And now you can try this, at least this was true about a week ago, that if you were to upload a picture on Grok of Elon Musk in these like really ugly black swimming trunks, you know, and his stomach is hanging out, and he's like as white as this table, or like, you know, the kind of like a maggot white, and he looks awful. And you ask Grok, what do you think of Elon Musk's physique? And it'll be like, he's like a Greek god. You know, so point is, he's so shoda, Zaman Maaf, that he reprogrammed Grok to feed his ego. So these are the sad, lonely men like Peter Thiel, who's an absolute psychopath, who are writing the algorithm that you are consuming. Grok, is this true? Chat GPT, tell me what you think. When you give over your thinking to machines in the hope that it'll free you, you allow other men with machines to enslave you. And I think that is what is happening.
So basically, जितनी हमारी dependency, that's a good point. हमारी
That was Frank Herbert, by the way.
जितनी ज़्यादा dependency AI पे होती जा रही, अभी जो हमने देखा कि everybody is
pro-Israel, right-wing, crazy Zio organization. और उन्होंने एक आर्टिकल लिखा कि यार ये बंदा क्यों जीता है, और ये जीता है because of a secret Pakistani Marxist movement. And they mentioned Amar Ali Jan's Haquq-e Khalq movement. अब I love Amar, he's a good friend, लेकिन उन लोगों ने एक सीट कंटेस्ट की थी PP 160 में और उनको 16,000 वोट मिले थे, 1600 वोट, sorry, okay? So it gave this whole thing कि okay, this is the secret group that infiltrated American politics and blah blah blah. जो बंदा यहाँ पे सीट नहीं जीत सकता वो न्यूयॉर्क में इलेक्शन जिता रहा है, right? And somebody asked Grok, is this true? Now what did Grok do? Grok scanned all available information and it found the New York Post article and it says yes, reports confirm it. And then it saw people's tweets saying the same thing and it was like yes, because why? Because AI models work not on veracity. They don't have the ability to tell you what's right or what's wrong, whether it's day or whether it's night. They work on volume. And this is what in computer science terms was called GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you poison the data stream on which the AI learns, then the fruit of the poison tree is also poison.
And Israel
I will give you an example.
Israel is doing this.
Israel is doing it. Israel awarded about, I think, a $10 million contract to Trump's former campaign company to flood the internet with videos, with websites, and with blogs supporting the Israeli narrative. So when the AI is consuming that data, right, because the ratio will be 100 is pro-Israeli posts to say 10 pro-Palestinian posts, it will give the weightage to the Israeli posts. So देखें कोई ये नहीं कह रहा कि आप अपने AI को बंद रखें, ऐसे नहीं है, अपने AI को ऑन रखें लेकिन अपने दिमाग को उसके साथ बंद ना करें. And I can tell you something even more terrifying if you want. But if you want to do another round and get back to me on that.
I want to actually pick up on something very important. जो अभी हिना साहब आपने जिक्र किया था. I'm going to pick it up from. You said कि पहले you would read, you know, us and him, and now we are all reading our own what we like. So, you know, you can call it becoming hostage to our own timelines. ये जो जितना अभी सारे लोगों ने देखा है इनकी feeds में, Talat, I'll point this to you. इनकी feeds serious है Talat. How is it skewing our national discourse and our own thoughts?
Well, this presumes that we have a national discourse, but let me start from the sort of lower end of it. I think we need to rephrase whether we are using AI or AI using us. You spoke about, you know, we living in an echo chamber where our own voice is rebounded to us and we believe this to be the general opinion. But we have had this kind of a problem in its initial stage with the search engines as well. So the search engines used to throw up the kind of material that was, according to them and their judgment, or whatever that means, was worth reading to me. So that has now been accentuated. So that's what I meant when I said that the scale of the problem is going to be going to the scarier levels. So AI algorithms obviously create an echo chamber, but I'm not too sure that that's by our own choice. I think the echo chambers are also being crafted by the algorithms who are now lethal. So they deliberately want to create an imaginary alternate universe for you, which is slightly detached from reality. In fact, you earlier spoke about and asked this pointed question about who is getting more empowered and who's losing the game. Is the government becoming more empowered at the expense of the people? So let me give you the answer. There are two categories of governments in this world. There are governments that are represented by countries which are known as leapfroggers, the ones that are really jumping ahead of the others. The other are really laggards. So it depends on where the government is located, Fahad. If the government is located in the category of leapfroggers, like China, like certain parts of Europe, like Russia, like the US, then the government is getting empowered at the expense of the people. And if the government is located in the category of laggards, then the government is on the losing end and the people are also at the losing end. So AI is not going to be affecting people and governments alike across the board. It will be affecting countries according to their level of development and achievement. And that is why I think you are moving towards massive monopolies at the expense not just of people, but of countries and civilizations. I think that takes you to a whole new level of threat perception. In terms of communication, I think just one point, and we can further elaborate it. Communication is, it depends on the recipient's ability to do due diligence. Fake news is not new. The scale is different. But what really strikes me is the laziness of the consumer. In this day and age, those who deploy AI slightly more intelligent as compared to the others are able to track down fake news, are able to know fact from fiction, they know deep fakes. All you have to do is to not be lazy. So I think if you are a lazy consumer of AI product, then frankly, you have no chance in hell of surviving the information warfare. But if you're slightly more intelligent and have developed a certain critical faculty to apply AI, to counter AI propaganda, I think you're in a good place for now.
Acha, now let's do this. Let's make this an interactive session. हमारे पास time about 21 minutes और 8 seconds है. तो let's make it interactive. बीच-बीच में हम सवाल भी करते रहेंगे. So do we have a mic जी? Anybody wants to ask a question? हाथ खड़ा कीजिएगा अपना. Identify yourself और सवाल जिससे कर रहे हैं और kindly आपसे गुजारिश है कि छोटा सवाल हो, उसके बाद आपके अंदर एक बहुत प्रेशर बिल्ड कर रहा है एक लंबी तकरीर का, तो वो सेशन के बाद विल बी मोर देन हैप्पी टू लिसन टू इट। जी माइक है जी, इधर दीजिएगा जी सर को, यहाँ ये सामने।
हेलो जी, मेरा क्वेश्चन मैडम हिना से है कि इन्होंने बोला कि एआई के अंदर डिप्लोमेसी नहीं है, तो मैं ये क्वेश्चन करना चाहता था इनसे कि क्या हमारा जो अभी ये करंट रिजीम चल रहा है, ये क्या सारे का सारा एआई के बेस पे चल रहा है, जिसमें डिप्लोमेटिक नहीं है और टेबल टॉक पे नहीं आते हैं?
ओके, क्या कह रहे हैं?
I didn't understand that.
हाँ, neither did I. But I think आपने assume किया कि मैं कह रही हूँ कि AI में डिप्लोमेसी नहीं है। मैं बिल्कुल मुख्तलिफ बात करी थी, बिकॉज मैं बल्कि पीछे मुड़ के मैंने देखा कि हमारा टॉपिक ऑफ डिस्कशन इज पावर पॉलिटिक्स एंड द algorithmic cold war. So I was talking about the power structures and the political structures of the world order and the world that we inhabit today. And what I was saying was that in a world which celebrated negotiations, diplomacy, finding solutions to existing problems, we are now living in a world which is hell-bent upon and ensuring creation of new problems and considers diplomacy and negotiation and mediation to be bad words, as we saw in our own region between India and Pakistan, and as we are seeing all over the world. There is a run towards militarization that is happening as we speak. I have been lectured and hectored by many, many Western diplomats on how Pakistan, no matter how threatened it feels by an emerging India, by a roguish India, should never invest in military warfare. And what about feeding the children? What about climate change? What about this, that, the other? And then one Ukraine happens, and all of European Union decides to redraw the rules of the game.
Yep.
And NATO is now allowing, European Union countries are allowing below the budget military expenditures. That has never happened before. People were talking about 2% of the GDP, and now they're celebrating